Northeast Ohio, where the Coast Guard is going to be giving the Silver Life-Saving Medal to Petty Officer Second Class Nathaniel Howard. Mr. Howard, back in April of 22, is being credited with saving a husband and wife from drowning in the Cuyahoga River. So today he's being awarded, again, that Silver Life-Saving Medal. Let's take you live now to the presentation in Fairport Harbor.
Its 149-year history. On June 20th, 1874, Congress passed the Life-Saving Act to establish medals recognizing significant rescues. The first class medal, now known as the Gold Life-Saving Medal, is reserved for rescues of extreme and heroic daring. The second class medal, now known as the Silver Life-Saving Medal, is reserved for gallant service. These medals are unique as they can be awarded to both military members and civilians, and are unusual as these are the only military medals made from precious metal. The first gold medals were awarded to three brothers who rescued two people from a shipwreck on Lake Erie in 1875. Almost 1,900 Silver Life-Saving Medals have been awarded since its inception in 1874. And today, we're here to honor BM2 Nathaniel Howard, the latest recipient of the medal. As you'll hear today, BM2's actions the afternoon of April 12th, 2022 were extraordinary, and without those actions, the community here would be short 2 adult souls. I would like to welcome the family of BM2 Nathaniel Howard, as well as Sharon Whipple, Leonard Dubizinski, and their son, Lee. Thank you for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the national anthem and invocation. Now, BM2 Howard arriving. Now, Sector Eastern Great Lakes arriving. Now, 9th District arriving. Hand salute. Ready, 2. And salute. Ready, 2. Chaplain Levette will now deliver the invocation.
Heavenly Father, of you it is said, those who go down to the sea in boats, who work on the mighty waters, they have seen the works of the Lord and his wonders in the deep. By your word, you raise a storm wind that makes the waves surge, and then reduce it to a whisper, so that the waves are stilled. Let us pray. God, ruler of the universe, we ask to feel your presence with us today as we celebrate the dedication of Petty Officer Nathaniel Howard, his professionalism and dedication on and off duty to his people, the mission, and the Coast Guard are an inspiration to all who serve alongside him and are blessed by his continued service. We also honor his family, whose love and support is essential to making his service possible. We thank them and all Coast Guard families for their sacrifice and service to our country. We pray for all those who serve, asking that you bless Petty Officer Howard and all our shipmates, active, reserve, auxiliary, and civilian, who stand the watch. All this we ask in your great name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Our first speaker today is Captain Mark Cooperman. Captain Cooperman assumed the duties as Sector Eastern Great Lakes in May 2022. His area of responsibility comprises of the Eastern Great Lakes, including 570 miles of shoreline from Vermilion, Ohio to Messina, New York, and oversees 1,285 active duty, reserve, civilian servants, and auxiliary personnel. His past assignments include Deputy Chief of Staff of Operations, PAC Area, Sector Anchorage Deputy Commander, and District 13 Command Center Chief. Captain Cooperman is married to Christine Cooperman and is a proud father of 3 children, Hunter, Liam, and Michaela. Captain Cooperman.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone, and what a great occasion for us all to be gathered here today. I wanted to start by discussing something that resonated with me recently. I had just done some reading on firsthand accounts from Polish citizens who had sheltered Jewish and other minority families in their homes during World War II, and those families and citizens would have otherwise been sent to concentration camps. And so these regular Polish citizens did this at great peril and personal risk, which included a death sentence if they were discovered in doing so. And so when they were asked afterwards, after the war had concluded, why they would have taken on such great risks, they generally had one of 2 answers, is what the research showed. One, it was the right thing to do, or they didn't realize that there was another option. So I would guess that if you were to ask BM2 Nathaniel Howard why he jumped in icy waters to save a stranger's life at great personal risk, he would either tell you it was the right thing to do, or he didn't consider that there was another option. In his day job at Coast Guard Station Fairport, he might typically be expected to pull someone out of icy water if he could, but he has definitely several advantages when he is on duty. For one, he has a fully equipped search and rescue boat. He is also wearing anti-exposure coveralls, he is wearing a personal flotation device, and he has the benefit of trained teammates who are by his side. He also doesn't operate the boat near an approaching waterfall or in Class 5 rapids. Each of these distinctions really matters. And together, all of these factors make a world of difference. And they make a difference as well in how this award was closely evaluated and considered. For those who have not seen how the process works, receiving this award is rare. It's even rarer for an active duty or a reserve member to receive because it requires essentially an act of heroism while off duty and without all the benefits of the life-saving safety gear, those equipped vessels, and the trained partners that are alongside him or her. It requires the possibility that you might give your life while trying to save others. And so this process is lengthy and detailed and deliberate because, well, we just don't give these out very often. So here's the process in a nutshell. The story of the initial rescue is reported to the Coast Guard, typically through a friend or from those who were saved or by other law enforcement partners, and then we begin a complete investigation of all the facts. Once that report is completed, the entire award package is routed to the unit commanding officer, in this case me, and then the district commander, in this case Admiral Hickey, and then a series of admirals in the chain of command have an opportunity to review as well, concluding with the Commandant of the Coast Guard. So I'll finish these short remarks by returning to what Nathaniel might have been thinking at the time this fateful day happened and offer up one other option. It is altogether possible he may not have been thinking anything at all. Instead, his training, his intuition, his empathy, and most importantly, his true nature may have all just kicked in at the right moment. His brain told his legs to start moving down to the water line, which then told his feet to start wading through the icy water, and then told his arms to start stretching outwards. That final signal to his hands to grab onto our survivors who are here with us today. And that final signal from his brain to his hands represented that last grasp of hope for two people who were having a really bad day and who literally needed a helping hand. How that hand reached out to them may be beyond all of our understanding, including Nathaniel's. These events happen very quickly, and whether we have what it takes to respond often comes down to instinct that is born from a lifetime's worth of preparation for several minutes. In exchange, those few seconds of instincts makes the difference as to whether several people get to see another birthday, another sunrise, or another kayaking trip. What we do know is on some conscious or subconscious level, Nathaniel's best qualities showed up when two people needed it most. This is one of the highlights of being in this world of work, and a great example of why I love working alongside fellow Coast Guard members. They can be counted on in and out of uniform, and on this occasion, counted on when it mattered most. Thank you. And for those who don't know, I'm just briefly going to come off script here for a second. We have a tradition in the Coast Guard of giving someone a coin when they've done something outstanding. So although you're going to be recognized more formally, this is the absolute least I can do.
Thank you, Captain Cooperman. Ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker today is Rear Admiral John Hickey, who assumed the duty as 9th District Commander in April 2023. He is a senior Coast Guard commander for the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Seaway. His past assignments include Coast Guard's Director of Operational Logistics, Director of Governmental and Public Affairs, and Special Assistant to the Vice President. Admiral Hickey is married to Aaron O'Brien and is a proud father of 5 children: Celia, Elise, Lucy, Charlie, and Angie. Welcome.
All right, good morning. Good morning. It is wonderful to be here. We're getting some good Coast Guard weather out there today, right? Cold, cloudy. It's probably going to rain, maybe sleet. What an honor it is to be here today, to honor BM2 Howard. I mean, it is just a true pleasure and honor to be here for this Silver Life-Saving Medal presentation. Thank you to Mark Cooperman, Captain Cooperman, for walking us through just how rare and special this award is, right, in this ceremony today. I could just tell you that in my 34 years affiliated with this amazing service called the U.S. Coast Guard, I have never had the opportunity to award this medal, not even close. This is the highest level medal that I'll ever award in my time here, and it is an absolute honor to be able to be a part of it. So this is a special day. It is a rare day, right? But it is made special, and the ceremony is special because of your attendance, right? Made more special. We have lots of special folks, wonderful folks here that make the ceremony special, and I want to recognize a few of those. So let me start with Ms. Katie Berger. Thank you, Katie, for being here. Thank you for the support and oversight from Congressman Joyce. We couldn't do our job without it, so thanks. To our commanding officers and our officers in charge. So Captain Mark Cooperman, Mark, thanks for being here. I know you came all the way from Buffalo to be here. And of course, Senior Chief Zorchak that leads this wonderful team, this amazing team we call Coast Guard Station Fairport. To our survivors, Ms. Sharon Whipple, Mr. Leonard Dubzinski. Sharon and Leonard, thank you for being here. You guys being here makes it so special to us. To BM2, Nathaniel Howard, the the guest of honor, right? The person of the hour. Obviously, thank you for being here. It's an honor to be in your presence. Thank you to your family for being here. So we got lots of family members here, starting with his wife, Emily. Emily, thanks for being here. BM2's parents are here, Jim and Margaret. Margaret, raise your hand. You are the head of environmental law at Coast Guard headquarters, so also a Coastie. This is family business for the Howards. BM2's brother, Alex. Okay, Alex, once a Coastie, always a Coastie, also was a Coastie in previous years. And then, of course, Emily's mom is here, Lisa Garrett. Lisa, nice to have you. And then Emily's grandfather, Grant Erickson. Grant, thank you, sir, for being here. All right. So, the Great Lakes can be extremely dangerous. They're like freshwater oceans out there. Trust me on this one. In 2022, 73 lives were lost throughout the Great Lakes. We are here today to recognize an individual who prevented that number from being too greater. As mentioned, the Silver Life-Saving Medal is one of the very few service medals awarded to both members of the military and civilians. And those awardees are among very select individuals, very select. And inside of every Coast Guard rescuer, there is something which drives them to selflessly help those in danger. Through their individual makeup, intense training and preparation, and their will, their inner will to help others, they are always ready. They are semper paratus to answer the call. And we are here today because BM2 answered that call. He literally heard a call for help. And after hearing that call for help and making eye contact with the individuals in the water, BM2 selflessly scaled the riverbank and entered the water to help not only one, but two people that he didn't know. Swiftly flowing downstream, after having her kayak capsize, Mrs. Sharon Whipple, and shortly following, her husband, Leonard Dubzinski, who tried to save her, both cascaded separately towards Class 5 rapids of the Cuyahoga River near Cuyahoga Falls. That day, the flow rate of the river was 32% faster than the standard river flow rate, and the water temperature was just 44 degrees Fahrenheit. It was April. It's probably actually colder than it is out there right now. And we all know, water temps that cold quickly cause hypothermia and loss of bodily function. Timeliness in this situation was paramount, but it wasn't a worry due to BM2's immediate actions. After rescuing Sharon, BM2 spotted Leonard and re-entered for the second rescue. Suffice it to say, it takes a very special person to risk themselves in treacherous situations like these. And BM2 Howard did it twice. He did it twice. BM2 didn't have any formal swiftwater training, but this didn't stop him. Using lessons and principles learned from egress and ice rescue training, he saved Sharon's and Leonard's lives. One person that also deserves special mention and recognition is BM2's now wife, Emily. If it wasn't for Emily, BM2 wouldn't have found himself on that riverbank that day. So, Emily, thank you. Thank you for suggesting that walk. And thank you for remaining on shore, keeping a watchful eye over BM2 while he effected the rescue. Ladies and gentlemen, it is always a great day to be a Coastie. Trust me on this. It is always a great day to be a Coastie. Some days are harder than others. But today, days like these are the best days. They are the best days to be a Coastie. We try to instill in our members our core values: honor, respect, and devotion to duty, so that these values may guide all of their actions, whether on duty or off duty. BM2 Howard is living proof that those core values don't stop at the station fence line. They don't stop when you go off duty. They become part of us, as does our guardian ethos, so that wherever we are, whenever the time, we will help others in need. We will help others in need. That is our guardian ethos. And that is a wonderful ethos to reflect on as we head into the holiday season here. So BM2 Howard, I am eternally grateful for you. Maybe not as grateful as Sharon and Leonard, but I am eternally grateful for you. Grateful for your courage, grateful for your dedication to duty, and grateful for your leadership. So thank you. Thank you all for being here. I wish you a happy holidays and a joyous new year. Thank you, and Semper Paratus.
Thank you, Admiral. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the Silver Life Saving Medal to BM2 Nathaniel Howard. Attention to award. On behalf of the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Commandant takes great pleasure in presenting the Silver Life Saving Medal to BM2 Nathaniel Howard for acts as set forth in the following citation. For heroic action on the evening of 12 April 2022 in the rescue of a husband and wife from drowning in the Cuyahoga River in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. The woman, an avid paddler and swimmer, was testing a new kayak near the Little Falls portion of the Cuyahoga River, while her husband awaited on shore to retrieve her and her kayak after testing was complete. Overcome by dynamic river currents, the woman's kayak unexpectedly overturned and ejected her into the near-freezing waters without a life jacket. Realizing she was in severe danger, her husband ran to the river's edge and reached for her with an umbrella that he sourced from nearby. After she successfully grabbed hold of the umbrella, she noticed that her husband was losing his footing due to the powerful river current. Fearing that he too would succumb to the frigid waters, she intentionally released her grip to prevent her husband from being a second victim. As she drifted further downstream, she was quickly approaching the 60-foot elevation drop and the Class 5 rapids of Little Falls. Petty Officer Howard was nearby at a scenic overlook when he heard a desperate cry for help. As he looked down from the elevated overlook, he noticed the woman rapidly and helplessly drifting downstream. Understanding the grave circumstances, he unhesitatingly leapt into action and swiftly scurried down the precariously steep ravine to offer his assistance. Without concern for his own safety, he waded through the frigid waters, clinging onto boulders as he traversed his way through the white water to rescue her. Without a moment to spare, he reached for her and pulled her to safety. Moments before she would have descended a Class 5 waterfall strewn with boulders. After guiding her to dry land, he turned and observed her husband helplessly drifting down the river without a life jacket. Petty Officer Howard waded through the deep frigid water a second time to reach the husband and pull him safely to shore. If not for Petty Officer Howard's heroic action, 2 lives would have been lost. His unselfish actions and valiant service reflect the highest credit upon himself and are in keeping with the highest traditions of humanitarian service. Given this 11th day of December, 2023, from the Commandant, Admiral Linda Fagan. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Please be seated. At this time, I would like to invite Ms. Sharon Whipple to the stage to offer her remarks.
Hi, everybody. I wrote a whole bunch to say, but the captain and admiral basically stole my speech. So a lot of choices happened that day. I made a lot of bad choices that day. It was the first time I was ever in the water without a life jacket, and I recognized that fact about 5 minutes before I went into the water. I think what people don't realize is how far away Nathan was from me when he saw me. He was literally 3 stories up. He could have kept walking and nobody would have even known he saw me. Nobody else was going to see me. The only person who would have known what would have happened would have been my husband. At that point, he wasn't in the water yet. I don't know why he made the choice he made, but he made the choice to help me. And my husband, which I found out later. Maybe if more people reached out and helped a stranger, even if it meant they might be harmed in the process, maybe we'd be living in a different world right now. So I guess I hope maybe that's a lesson we can learn. I mean, I learned a lot, like always have my life jacket and maybe don't kayak alone and maybe check the flow rate before I go, but I do all those things now. So hopefully I won't run into Nathan that way again. I've lived my whole life on this lake and I'd never met the Coast Guard, so that was fun. I thank him. I thank Emily. She was there too. I hear her voice still, calmly checking me out. I thank them for saving my husband. My children thank them, my family, my father, who is very grateful. But if that's the one lesson anybody else can take is help a stranger, reach your hand out. You might be saving a life. You never know. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, his family. Thank you, the Coast Guard, for training him. Thank you, my husband, for finding an umbrella and pulling me close enough to the shore for Nathan to come get me. There's a lot of thanks to go around, but especially for Nathan and Emily. So thank you very much for making me here.
Thank you, Mrs. Whipple. It is now my pleasure to introduce BM2 Nathaniel Howard.
Good morning, everyone. On April 12th of last year, someone looked into my eyes and cried for help. I don't think anyone in this room would have wanted to do anything different than what I had done. And I know that everyone wearing this uniform had the capacity to do the same thing. Sharon, when I met with you and your father a few days later, we talked about a lot. I got a great mug. And the words that were thrown around was that I was in the right place at the right time. And I think what is most simply the case is to my shipmates, as long as you respect the life-saving mission that we do, remember your training, and remain always ready, wherever you go is the right place at the right time. Thank you.
Thank you, BM2. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. The official party will remain for a moment for photos. Lastly, there are snacks and refreshments in the galley. Thank you all for...
Dan DeRose with 19 News. What an incredible honor to be able to watch the awarding of the Silver Life-Saving Medal. We learned not only about the rescue itself by that young man there, Petty Officer Second Class Nathaniel Howard, who rescued a husband and wife that were on the Cuyahoga River. The river, from what we've learned, was at a high rate that day. It was April. The water was 44 degrees. The wife was testing out a new kayak. Sharon Whipple was testing out a new kayak. She says now she realizes she did several things wrong. She said it was the first time she'd ever been in the water without a life vest and how important that was. But the powerful statements of saying she cried out for help, and this Nathaniel Howard was on an overlook. If it's the overlook I'm thinking of, how he was able to get down, as Sharon Whipple, as the wife said, it was basically 3 stories that he was able to get down, seeing that she was headed for the rapids in Cuyahoga Falls. And it would have been painful, if not deadly, if she had gone over the falls. And just jumping in, not only to save her, but after her husband fell in, who was trying to save her as well. And all of this goes into why he was awarded this medal. This isn't a medal that's given to a Coast Guard member that makes a rescue while on duty. This is a medal that's given to people who are saving lives off duty. It can go to a civilian or to a military member. But as we heard in the beginning, it would have been one thing if Nathaniel Howard was on duty, was in a patrol boat, had his, and it looks like we might be hearing a little bit more from him. Let's listen in.
All right. Again, you described the day. I think we understand what was going on. What were you doing that day? You were off duty?
Yes, so I was in Cuyahoga Falls with my girlfriend at the time. We were actually going out to dinner that evening, and we were told by the restaurant that there would be a 50-minute wait, so we decided to just take a walk down by the river, look for some river otters, and it just happened to be a different course of events happened that day. We heard some noises, some screaming. I thought it might have been kids, and the sound just bouncing off of the nearby highway. And while I was trying to locate the source of the sound, I looked down into the river, and I saw a person floating by, and we made eye contact, and she asked for help. And the next thing I know, I was at the water's edge, going out into the water, grabbing her by the arm and pulling her back, and she said to me, "My husband should be right behind me." And I turned around, and there was a second person in the water, so I, now with experience, went back and repeated the process. But other than that, it was a pretty standard day outside of that.
Pretty remarkable how fate had Nathaniel Howard there. As you just heard, simply waiting for a table. They could have waited inside the restaurant, but no, went for that walk and made that incredible rescue. And I thought it best, and he mentioned it again there, but when he took to the podium the first time, he said someone looked in his eyes and asked for help, and his training as a Coast Guard member kicked in. Again, keep in mind that this award has been around, I believe they said, since the 1850s, and has only been given out 1,900 times, and we got to witness it right here for a young man from Northeast Ohio. We'll have a complete wrap-up of this and all of the day's news as we get closer to our 3.5 hours of news at 3 o'clock. If we have anything else that breaks, we'll bring it to you right here on our digital properties. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News Now. Have a good afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media at Cleveland 19 News.